Hey friends, Matt here with Peppercoat Barbecue, and today's going to be a short episode, but it may be one that gives you some valuable information for the future. And yes, you saw the thumbnail correct. I've got a Boston butt here that I smoked 2 weeks ago. Hang around and I'll give you the whole story. 2 weeks ago was July the 4th, and I had smoked 3 pork butts, and it turned out that a few people were not able to come to our little get-together, and I'd also smoked some sausages, so I really only needed 2 of them. So this one, it was a 10-pound pork butt. I left it wrapped in the butcher paper, wrapped it in some plastic wrap. After it had cooled in the fridge overnight, I put it in the freezer and had left it there for about a week, week and a half. I pulled this out 3 days ago, laid it in the fridge so it could start defrosting. And then earlier today, I set my oven for 300 degrees, put a probe in this pork butt and put it in the oven and let it warm up to 165 degrees. Now I chose to let it go to 165 because that's what Google says is a safe temperature for frozen pork to be reheated to. So now we're going to break this pork butt down. We're going to give it a try and see if a pork butt that has been cooked and then frozen while whole and then brought back to life, reheated, if it's good. Now I did lose some of the bark when I pulled the paper off. It had stuck to the butcher paper, but overall retained most of it, and you can see how well this fat cap had rendered out. Now, if you saw the video from a couple of weeks ago, you know that I said that these were some of the best pork butts I think that I had ever made. And you can see that this one is still, it's just falling apart, but they were falling apart the day that I took them off of the smoker. And I'm pulling this apart now. Like I said, I got it up to 165. It's very hot on the inside. You can see the meat there. It doesn't look like it had any adverse effects on it, freezing it. So I'm going to pull a little bite off over here on this money muscle. Still got a little of this bark on here. And we'll see what it tastes like. That's really good. So I didn't know how this would be because I know sometimes when you warm up, especially chicken and pork, it gets that heated up, funky taste to it that nobody likes. Some people don't notice it. I notice it probably more than most people. My wife really notices it. And I was afraid this may have that, but one of the things that causes that problem is oxidation of the meat. And so when we left this wrapped and it had all of that grease and the oils around it, and then wrapped it in the plastic wrap, put it in the freezer, we didn't let this thing set out for days. It didn't really have time to oxidize. It didn't have the air that was hitting the open meat. And then we left it in that same butcher paper, heated it up. I was afraid maybe that butcher paper would disintegrate, fall apart. It didn't. It held together really well. And just 100% honesty, about the only difference that I can tell between this pork butt right now and when it was fresh 2 weeks ago is that it is a little more dry now than what it was. But as far as the flavor, there's no funk, and yeah, it's pretty daggone good. So I know somebody's thinking, what's the point in all of this? Why would you ever need to do this? Well, in my case, like I said, I had made an extra pork butt. I didn't need it that day, so I was able to save it and use it on another day. Now, I wouldn't recommend warming this up again, but it'll be great for this evening. Another reason, if something happens, say that it rains and you've already got these pork butts smoking, you can finish them up, cancel your event, throw them in the freezer, reschedule 2 weeks later, and you can warm these up and you can still have a great barbecue. So if you ever find yourself in the need to freeze a whole frozen Boston butt, or it wouldn't be frozen at that point, but to freeze the whole Boston butt after you've smoked it, and then you need to warm it up later, then hey, you can do it. Mine turned out pretty good. Short episode today, but I hope it's helpful for you. I'll see you here next time on Peppercoat Barbecue.